Welcome to the Hope for Healing Network. This is Cecily Henderson. Thank you so much for joining us in this safe space today. I want to wish everyone well. I have a very special guest on. I've been getting to know her a little bit. I'm so excited to share her story. She's been through so much. These beautiful Hope Talks, I'm just so excited to share with you because the amazing people that have gone through these terrible things have overcome and now are helping others. It just hits my heart. Andrea, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Cecily. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're a blessing today in my life, and I just want people to hear your story and hear what you're doing to help women and then kind of your goals as well. So let's start from the beginning. Let's share your journey.
Absolutely. Well, I'll give it to you in capsule. I come from a pretty violent and abusive home after my parents divorced, and I was sexually abused by my stepfather, and my baby brother was beaten. And all I wanted was to live with my dad again. And when I was about 10 years old, I had the opportunity to do that. And he and my stepmother gave me such a safe and beautiful and loving home. And at the time, it was the 70s, and it was the Aquarian age where everything was about personal growth and development. And there was silver mind control. And I joined my dad on workshops for silver mind control and just transcendental meditation. And we would go to libraries, and I would buy stacks of books, and he would buy stacks of books. And it was an amazing time. And at one time, I was about 23 years old. My father could no longer run the family business, which was a real estate business, 3 buildings in Manhattan. And I just wanted to give back to my dad. I loved him so much. And so I stepped in without even thinking. And I stepped in to run the family real estate business with my 80-year-old Nana. And from that moment, almost, my relationship with my dad just completely changed. And it turned into a business transaction. He said one thing to me. He said, "Don't think of me as your father, think of me as your boss." And it was very odd because he had given me all of the power. I had full power of attorney. I could sign a check to anybody in any amount. And yet I agreed with him that I would pay myself $150 a week.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, because and when you were talking, you were saying to me that you just didn't feel good enough or worthy or right, that your self-esteem, so you went
Yes.
along with that.
Well, I just I I had no concept of running a business. I had living in one of the 3 buildings. I had always thought of myself as the landlord's daughter. So like I would go down to the one of the superintendents and say, "Manny, could you turn up the heat?" And there I was in bunny slippers or something. I didn't think I could take myself seriously as a boss, as the boss. And so it took me 14 and a half years to get to the point where I realized, wait a minute, I am shortchanging myself. I'm devaluing myself. And during all those years, my father he had taken to verbally abusing me. And so he was calling me stupid and naive and dumb and cursing at me. And yet I and my grandmother were bringing those buildings up to an 8-figure status. And at one point, I found a women's empowerment group and I shared my story. And they said, "Do you have any idea how much power you have here?" And I said, "I have no idea." Well, they told me, you have full signing power. You could do anything that you want. So I walked away and I decided to give my father an ultimatum. I said, "Sure, yes, go ahead, sell those buildings. You give me 49%. And then after 3 weeks, he said, "You know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I did to you what my dad had done by loading 28 buildings onto me when I was a kid." And so, long story short, because I trusted him, And I ignored my husband's pleadings and my friend's pleadings, saying, get it in writing, Andrea. I walked away with nothing.
My
And
gosh. Dear, wow. Oh, all
wow.
wow. I mean, all the work that you had done and then
Oh,
putting
wow.
your trust in someone. And it's hard because where is that line? Because you know that they've been through it themselves. Like you said, he had gone through it as a kid, and so he thought that he was doing the right thing. And then
Yes.
he put this on you, and it's like a cycle.
Yes.
And so you have to stop that cycle at some
Yes.
point, and you walked away with nothing. Oh my gosh,
Nothing.
that's so
Nothing.
hard.
Nothing. And what had ensued from that is that because my family said, how could you trust him? My husband and my son, how could you possibly trust him? He lied to you. So there was like this internal war going on in my home and this resentment that was built between my husband and I. And so gradually over the years, it put a wedge between us, unfortunately, because my husband kept saying, no, we should go after him. You should get a settlement. And I said, no, 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 no. It just makes no sense to anybody listening to this. But I didn't want to do anything to hurt my father. And I will always love him. I will never understand why he did and what he did, but it's okay. It's okay.
Wow, look at the wonderful person that you are, though, because despite all these things, you still have that love and that compassion for your father, and that's
That's
that's incredible. That's
that's my
worth more.
nana's influence.
That's such a beautiful thing when you can love somebody who's hurt you, and it's okay. You need to have those boundaries and not let
You
them
do.
hurt you anymore, but it's okay to have that love in your heart because that's healing for you as well. Because
Oh, wow. Yes. You know, when you talk about that, that's really important to this because I truly believe that my husband died. He died at 69. He died because he was so filled with resentment and so much anger. And I kept saying, honey, come on, let's tap, let's do emotional freedom technique together. Let's do some meditation. That's going to help you. That's going to lower your the diabetes. It's going to help your heart rate. No, 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 no. It's ridiculous. It's silly. Yeah.
well, it's
Yeah.
hard because you can't choose for people, right?
You
You can't,
cannot.
and
You
that's the hardest thing is when you're watching them go through it. And that must have been so difficult for you.
It was. It was.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry about your husband
It's
passing. I'm so sorry about that. But when I met you, the first thing I said was, look at this beautiful, radiant person. And you radiate love and you have this beauty around you. And now you are helping others and working towards goals. I would love for you to share what you're doing and the goals that you have in the future to help women.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, all those years that I was running the family business, I had no sense of my value. And I truly believe that if I would have felt more comfortable in using my voice at that time, early on when I was 23, and my dad said, don't think of me as your father, think of me as your boss. And I would have just pushed back a little bit and said, what the heck are you talking about? I'm here giving up, leaving school to help you. If I would have done that, the things that younger women now are so comfortable doing, if I would have done that, I believe there would have been a different outcome. So, what I recognize is that through all of the sexual abuse from my early years and the verbal abuse from my dad has brought me to this one huge takeaway. And it's that I needed to love myself. Because by learning to love myself, I no longer am feeling in that position where I need to get daddy's approval or I need to, you know, I need my husband to love me, or I need my daughter to love me. No, I'm good. You can live your life. I'm fine.
My goodness, that we need to hear that. We need to hear stories of triumph like yours. You've gone through some very awful things in your life, terrible abuse, and now you are helping others. Your self-esteem is radiating. I can feel it, which is amazing because when you are set an example, then it gives people hope that they can get to that point as well. When they
Yes.
see somebody else did it, you can do it. And you're telling people you can do it. And that is an incredible support system. So I just
It was that women's empowerment group that made me aim straight, and wait a minute, this is for me. And that was probably the inspiration for me to become a coach and go through master practitioner training with NLP. So
wow.
now I
And
give
it
everything to other women so they recognize their power.
That's so beautiful. And that's how we need to stick together
Me
as
too.
women, as people, helping support each other. And I know I was telling you that when I had a very abusive first marriage,
Yes.
and the reason I got out was my sister. One of my sisters was so supportive, and despite everything else, everybody telling me, no, you need to stay in this marriage. My sister's like, Cecily, you need to get out. This is abusive. And I
Yes.
didn't see it at the time. And so as women, if we stick together, it's such a powerful, powerful unity when we are together and support each other. And this is what you're doing, Andrea, and I just
Yes.
appreciate it. So
Yes.
what are your goals? What I know that we talked about there's some things that you're doing online that you've been able to empower women with. So if you wouldn't mind, let's talk about that.
My goal is right now I'm creating the grief relief support group for women, women who have been hurt by toxic relationships and widows. And I single out widows because as a widow myself, I am seeing so many women struggling because whether they had wonderful marriages or terrible marriages, it does not matter. In the process of marriage, many times you lose yourself, you lose your identity, you get knocked down to the bottom in terms of self-esteem, because many times that shows up as it did in my situation with money issues. So what I want to do is I want to teach all of the master practitioner training from neuro-linguistic programming around boundaries, around, being able to reframe situations. So what I'm talking about is in the next live stream that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be talking about how betrayal is a blessing in disguise.
Gosh, I love that. A
Yeah,
blessing, seeing it
a
as a
blessing,
blessing.
a
Because
blessing.
wow,
Yeah.
beautiful. I'm excited. When is this event coming up?
I have not actually chosen a day. So it's definitely going to be this week. And what I decided I wanted to do is I adore cooking. And so I thought I would take all of the influence of my Nana, all that homespun wisdom of a motherly grandma, and do this in my kitchen. And I'll be baking banana bread.
Oh my goodness, I love it. And I love banana bread too.
Banana bread. It'll be banana bread. We're talking about betrayal, and we'll be talking about bulletproof brownies we'll be making. So lots of fun stuff.
Oh my gosh, Andrea, I love what you're doing. Thank you for being you
Yeah.
and being such a blessing in people's lives. And we'll make sure to put all of the information in the comments if you'd like to join Andrea. I know I'm going to be. Sign me up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I love it. This is what we need to give hope.
Yeah.
And you are definitely giving hope. So last question, Andrea, when somebody's lost hope, what's the advice that you would give them?
Never, ever, ever give up. When COVID hit and I lost my source of income, I a friend of mine said my husband and I weren't able to pay the rent. And At the time, luckily, New York State was in a state of moratorium, which means there was a moratorium on evictions, which meant that no landlord could evict a tenant for non-payment of rent during the period that COVID was considered a pandemic. So I knew, being in real estate, the time was on my side, but I was terrified. I knew that $1,800 a month was creeping up every month, and I had lost work. So a friend said to me, why don't you check out grants? And I went, grants? Oh, bing, bing, bing. And I'm a researcher. I'm an author. This is my book, Loving the Skin You're In, The
I love
Juicy
it.
Woman's Guide to Making Peace with Food and Friends with Your Body. And so I put it to work. This whole time, everything that I taught in the book has been working in me to rebuild my life. So I found grants. I got over $46,000 in grants. Then I started teaching others how to get grants. And I want to empower women not only to recognize their value, but to take practical steps on making their lives and manifesting them the way they want them to be.
So beautiful. And forgive me, tell me the book name again, because I didn't hear all of it because I was
Sure.
talking. I'm sorry.
Sure. It's Loving the Skin You're In, The Juicy Woman's Guide to Making Peace with Food and Friends with Your Body.
Wow. Do you have it on Amazon? How can people purchase it if
I
they would?
do. I do. It's on
Okay.
Amazon.
All right, perfect. We will make sure that that's in the comments as well because I love it. The juicy. That's so great. Oh my goodness.
Oh, let
Andrea,
me just let me just make clear what grants are because I didn't actually clarify. Grants are United States money programs that provide free services and cash that you do not pay back. Think about tuition, the Pell Grant. Um, you don't pay grants back, and there are grants for rent relief. My first grant was for 1 month back rent from Catholic Charities, which is a global organization that was giving up to 1 month back rent. And then from there, let's see, there's rent relief, there's debt relief. Through the Small Business Administration, I got free counseling. Actually, I continue to get free counseling, free business coaching worth thousands of dollars an hour. Now I'm in my 4th year since then, and I'm still getting it. You could get it. Anybody could get it. It's available. We just don't realize how much is available through our government. It's amazing. So that is all in my book, Grants Made Easy. Get money for yourself, your family, and your business.
oh gosh, Andrea, you're just amazing. I I love what you're doing. We're going to make sure we put all of that information in the comments because I
Oh,
want
thank
people to
you.
know this is truly, I mean, everything that you're doing is to empower others.
It is.
And I I just appreciate what you're doing and the light that you're spreading. So thank you for being you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to all of those who are watching today. We just want you to know that you're loved, you're appreciated, you're not alone, and that
No,
we're here. We're here for you. Andrea's here for you. And
yeah.
please reach out to her if you feel connected, reach out to her. Let her just let her know that, you appreciate what she's doing. And everyone just wishing you a wonderful day.
Oh, thank you. I'm feeling all the goodies. Have a
Thank you
great
so.
day.
Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you.